Hello viewers, today's topic is on the series of population and training in India. In this program, we are going to learn about training needs, analysis and the methods of training. So let's begin. Now let us discuss the training needs analysis. As the name suggests, the training needs analysis is an attempt to understand the training needs of employees in an organization. The analysis presents an approach to identify the gap between the existing performance level in the employees and the desired level of performance to achieve the organizational goals. In other words, it defines the gaps in skills, knowledge and attitude of workforce and indicates the training inputs required to improve employee performance. Preparing a training need analysis program involves two important aspects. One is the job analysis and the second is the outcome analysis. A job analysis involves looking at what people do in a specific job. It reveals matches and mismatches in the process. Outcome analysis focuses on the outcomes on which the people are expected to focus. These are the desired outcomes on which people are expected to produce and help the company to achieve its mission. Once we develop a clear understanding of the outcomes, it will be possible for the training to work out what the employees should be doing. Value added focus can be given to training need analysis. Training policy, even organization should have well established training policy. Such a policy represents the top management's commitment to the training of its employees. It comprises rules, regulations, procedure and scope of training for different levels of employees. A training policy is considered necessary for the following reasons: to indicate company's intention to develop its personnel, to discover critical areas where training is to be given on priority basis, to maintain favorite work culture and to provide suitable opportunities to the employees for their own progress. Methods of training. The types and forms of employees training methods are interrelated. It is very difficult to state which of the methods or combination of methods is more useful than the other. In fact, methods are multifaceted in scope and dimension, and each one is useful or suitable for a particular situation. The best technique for one situation or group may not be the best one for other situation or other group of the participants. Hence, it is essential to take care while adopting particular method to specific group of participants. An effective training method generally fulfills the decided target, provides motivation to the trainees to improve job performance and also assists to develop willingness to change through their total involvement in learning process. Using a variety of training methods stimulates learners' interest and arouses curiosity. It also leads to increased understanding and retention. Following are the different technical methods generally used in industrial training programs. When we see the various methods in which training method are classified, depending on the learning outcome and the process by which it is attained, it is possible to categorize the training methods into specific groups. On the job training, virtually every employee from the clerk to senior executive gets some on the job training when such employee joins the organization. Under this technique, an employee is placed in a new job and is told how it can be performed. It is primarily concerned with developing required skills for the job undertaken. Generally, supervisors or training instructors issue instructions or guide on the machines. New employees learn the job by personal observation and practice it by handling machines. It is learning by doing. It is also useful for complicated or technical jobs. The main advantage of this method is the trainee learns on the actual equipment in use and in actual environment. Off-the-job training can be imparted at a place away from workshop by various methods. The training is given usually by professional trainers. Simulation method is one of them. Simulation is a technique which duplicates as nearly as possible the actual conditions encountered on the job. The dictionary meaning of simulation is reproducing something for training purpose. Real life situations are simulated or artificially created for imparting training. Simulation has been characterized by an attempt to imitate and create plausible dimensions of reality based on an understanding of the interrelationship governing it. Lovelock distinguishes among three types of simulations based on the scope of simulation in business and industry. Functional simulation. It means simulating only specific functions. Company simulation. Simulation being confined only to company or company's internal operations. Management simulation. Simulation covering the activities of management. Another scholar, Twelker, makes a distinction between media ascendant, impersonal ascendant simulation for learning. The former is characterized by the use of mechanical devices and media, while the latter primarily simulates human interaction. Interpersonal ascendant simulates the processes of human behavior, and interpersonal interaction is an important part of such simulations. Behavior simulations are primarily focused on the process and learning of and about the process. A process is concerned with why and how of behavior. The methods falling in this category are role play, case study method, management games. In basket exercises, looking at the first role play, the role play method requires participants to enact roles on the basis of a written script or oral instructions regarding a particular situation. The enactment process provides an insight and understanding of the demands and situations that are required to be faced in the assigned role, thereby facilitating empathy with actual role. The main emphasis on facilitating a better understanding of interpersonal problems and attitude changes through such experience. Secondly, we have the case study method. The case study based on actual situation is written for discussion purpose. Analysis needs problem identification, its causes, and the analysis of the situation and suggesting possible solutions. There could be several solutions to the problem, and each of these alternatives and their implications need to be examined. In real world, on many occasions, a manager may not have all the relevant information with him before taking a decision. The case method approximates the reality. In many situations, decisions are taken with the limited data or under uncertainty. The managerial response in such a situation is explored and understood, and learning consists of developing problem solving skills. Thirdly, we have management games. This method is very famous in industries and it helps to maintain interest of participants in different situations. The game is built around the model of business situation, and trainees are divided in teams representing the management of competing companies. They simulate the real life process of taking operating decisions. Afterwards, decisions taken are analyzed and a series of the implications of these decisions are fed back. The game is played in several rounds after considering time dimensions. Fourthly, in basket method exercise, according to this method, in the beginning, the trainees are given full idea about the organization. Example, the company's history, background information, its product, key personnel, different time to time changes that occurred in the company, future plans, etc. The participants have to understand all these details for preparing the required notes, delegate tasks among them, and prepare an exhaustive report within the specified time. If this method is followed properly and meticulously, following abilities can be developed in participants: situational judgment to recall more details, establishing priorities, interrelated items and determining future needs, increased openness with others, scheduling meeting with concerned personnel, capacity to take decisions and immediate actions. This method is practical and action oriented, as participants can learn several lessons through active involvement. Knowledge based methods: in this method of training, an effort is made to expose participants to concepts and theories, basic principles and knowledge in any subject area. Basically, it is aimed at creating an awareness of the knowledge of fundamentals. The focus is essentially on transmission of knowledge which is necessary for participants. This knowledge is the base on which further understanding can be built. The methods in this category are lectures, seminars, workshops, films and CDs, group discussions, educational training program in management institutes. Now, discussing each of them in detail, and first of all, lectures. This is the traditional way to teach in the classroom. Generally, it is followed everywhere from schools to colleges. This is the best technique to present and explain series of facts, concepts and principles specifically in management training programs. The following are the benefits of this method. Being direct address, it can be used easily for large number of trainers in a group. Many points, facts and other details can be covered in this short period. This is a time saving technique. The main drawback of this method is that trainees' participation is not possible. Many times it may be doing specially for participants. For explaining technical matters, this method is of no use. Training up the first, that is seminars and workshops. Seminars: in the seminar, usually a particular topic is selected for discussion. In such program, the participants get an opportunity to listen to learned speakers and discuss with them selected subject of their own interest. As the participants are drawn from different organizations, they get an opportunity to mix freely with other representatives and exchange views, information, and share the experiences with them. Workshops are more business-like and lead to a more intensive study of certain issues. The exercise is backed by knowledge and experience from live situations which provide the context for mutual discussions. The sharing of information and experience leads to a clearer total view of an issue and provides an insight into various problems. Secondly, films and CDs. This is the method which was introduced by many educational institutions and organizations for effective clarification of particular topic to the participants. National Productivity Council, Central Board for Workers' Education, Indian Institutes of Management produced their own films on various topics in management, trade unionism, productivity, etc. Maratha Chamber of Commerce, Pune made arrangements to supply films and CDs to various organizations on nominal charges. Participants are very happy to attend such film shows. Usually, a film show is followed by discussion on learning outcomes. Thirdly, group discussion method. This is a very practical method for understanding any topic. According to this method, the topic of discussion is divided into different parts. The participants are also divided into 2-3 groups depending on the strength of the class. Each group is assigned a certain portion of the topic for discussion in a specified time. Participants in each group elect their group leader and reporter. After discussions, group reassemble, submit their report. Leaders explain the findings in short, and then session ends. These sessions become very lively due to active participation of members and putting forward varied viewpoint. Fourthly, educational training programs in management institutes. Indian Institutes of Management at Ahmedabad, Calcutta, Bangalore, and several such institutes in India prepare a training calendar to organize 1 to 3 days programs on various topics for interested students. These sessions are very lively and interesting. The participants get latest information on topics of interest. Fifthly, experimental methods. The focus in this category is on achieving a better understanding of oneself and others. Through group processes and dynamics, individual members talk about themselves and others and generate greater understanding and skills in interpersonal competence by naturally supportive roles. It has been asserted that attitudinal training helps an individual to improve his comprehension of self, others, group behavior, and personal interaction. Such knowledge and understanding help an individual to understand the problems of human relationship in a work situation. Some of the methods are sensitivity training. This is a new technique which gained popularity in last 2 to 3 decades. The main objective of sensitivity training is the development of awareness of and sensitivity to behavioral patterns of oneself and others. This development results in the increased openness with others, greater concern for others, increased tolerances for individual differences, less ethnic prejudice, understanding of group processes, enhanced listening skills, and increased trust and support. The role played by the trainee here is not a structured one as in role play. It is a laboratory situation where one gets a chance to know more about himself and the impact of his behavior on others. Transactional analysis. This method has received a lot of attention in management circles. The original idea about transactional analysis was mooted by Eric Barons, who developed transactional analysis as a technique for analysis and understanding behavior of a common man in the beginning of the 19th century. Transactional analysis assumes that every person expresses and operates through a particular ego state. Every communication takes place through three different ego states: parent ego state, child ego state, and adult ego state. The parent ego state is of two types. It is either controlling exercise or nurturing exercise. In the olden days, management used to transmit messages from a controlling ego state. The receiver was assumed to be in a child ego state. Transactional analysis helps to understand that for conveying a message effectively, both the sender and the receiver should be on the same ego level. Achievement motivation workshops. According to Abraham Maslow, well-known behavioral psychologist, any person is a perpetually wanting animal. He realized that man's immediate and most important needs become his goals, for the achievement of which he directs his attention and activities. Maslow thus emphasized the importance of satisfaction of the needs of people for successful pursuit of the objectives of the organization. Dr. David McClelland, another behavioral psychologist in America, further added that the ultimate objective of a man's effort is to achieve a goal. He further emphasized that achievement motivation is indeed the source and strength for any effort to satisfy the need. Each training method has some strengths and weaknesses. Given the nature and purpose of training program, the background of participants, available time and resources, the approximate method has to be chosen to impart training. Now, viewers, looking at the types of training program, we see that training is the cornerstone of sound management. It makes both organization and its employees more effective and productive. There are various types of training programs being regularly conducted in industrial and non-industrial organizations all over the world. Important of them are training programs. After employee has been recruited, selected and inducted, he must be properly developed to fit in a better way for the job and the organization. Every organization has its own work culture. The employee must be aware of its service rules and other practices from the beginning of the job. Hence, such programs are very important and useful for the new employees after reporting on duty for the first time. On the job training, this type of training is already explained earlier. Since most jobs in an industry can be learned in a relatively short period of time, this type of training is the most widely used. It has the advantage of strongly motivating the trainees to learn, since it is not located in the artificial situation of classroom. Generally, senior supervisors are trained to provide guidance. The trainees get all details about the job along with the maintenance of the machines, etc., with practical tips that are essential for managing the job. Vestibule training. This type of program attempts to duplicate on the job situation in classroom with the help of equipment and machine which are identical with those in use at the place of work. This technique enables the trainees to concentrate on learning new skills rather than on performing an actual job. In other words, it is geared to job duties. This type is used for semi-skilled personnel, particularly when many employees have to be trained for the same kind of work at the same time. Apprenticeship training for training in crafts, trades and in technical areas. Apprenticeship training is the oldest and the most commonly used program, especially when proficiency in a job is the result of a relatively long training period of 2 to 3 years for new young recruits. The fields in which apprenticeship training is offered are numerous and range from the job of a draftsman, machinist, painter, toolmaker, engineer and electrician. Each apprenticeship is given a program of assignments according to predetermined schedule, which provides for efficient training in trade skills. The main advantage of this method is that a skilled workforce is maintained and immediate returns can be expected from training. Moreover, the loyalty of employees and opportunities for growth are increased. Considerable importance has been given to this scheme in our selected 4 units for research. Especially in Tata Motors, continuous training programs are conducted by selecting candidates from ITIs all over Maharashtra. The duration of training program is 3 years. The selected trainees are paid stipend with lodging and boarding arrangements during training period. Internship training. This type of training is a work and study program where the trainee attends a school for theory sessions and works in the plant for practical experience in order to learn the skills and knowledge required to do a particular job. The training period may vary from 3 to 9 months and the participants alternate from school to the plant and vice versa until the course is completed. This type of program is offered through the cooperation between industries and vocational schools. A distinct advantage of this program is that there is a balance between theory and practice which enables the trainees to pick up the skills, knowledge and attitudes. Craft training. Preparing an employee for a craft has been one of the oldest type of training programs. Craft training is the more complicated than job training as a craft process is more complex. Also, it is difficult as it comprises generalized knowledge, skills and attitudes. The training period is also much longer. Craft skills are acquired by becoming an assistant to the craftsman by a formal apprenticeship or by a company training program. So, viewers, in this program, we have learned about training needs, analysis and methods of training. Thank you, viewers, for watching this program.